Alright guys, today we are going to be working on an Escalade 2002. I've been doing this build for quite some time now. We won't talk about how long, but this car, we're starting the stereo system finally. We have a slight air leak in one of the tanks, but that's going to be completely unrelated. We're here to now do the stereo system. That's going to end up being two 15-inch subwoofers going in this massive Gately box. Firing upward, port faces to the back with a massive 8K amplifier from Sundown Audio. Let's go take a look at the build. Welcome to Modified Garage. Subscribe, follow, all the good stuff. Let's get this started. First, let's get started with the components. We have the Sundown Audio ZV6 15s. We have two of them. Then we have the Salt 8K amplifier along with bass knob, and we have the Warpath lithium battery that's going to go all complement everything, with the addition to a alternator coming from Neckman. Now, a couple things I'm going to mention is that this is one of those type of setups that kind of scare you but excite you at the same time. One of two reasons. Number one, there's 8 0-gauge wires that's going to be in the vehicle, 6 of which are going to end up being to this one amplifier, and it's drawing 800 amps of power. Additional to that, we have a lithium battery that's a massive battery. It's actually enclosed into a wooden compartment. I don't know how to describe it. It's very unique. Warpath sent us one that was custom painted with like a blue cool metallic paint on the wood. It looks really cool. We'll get to that a little bit later, but so far we've already kind of mocked up in our heads what we're going to end up doing with this build. As far as the layout, amplifier is going to sit in the back behind the box, and then we're going to put the woofers obviously on the top of the box. Now, next thing to note, dangerous type of things, when you're running anything over 100 amps of power, everything's a possibility for a fire. Does not matter what type of professional install you end up getting. If you get in an accident, things moved, arcs, bam, doesn't matter. There's no such thing as a perfect world as far as anything not arcing. You just got to do your best to make sure that it's fused properly, so that way it'll protect it from there. But a battery can go flying, you know, it is what it is. We're gonna get everything secured as best as we can, because like I said, in an accident, there's no rules to that. This thing could easily catch on fire in a massive accident. So first step, we're gonna end up putting in the alternator, and that's what we're gonna do right now. Let's get it. So here's the alternator that we're gonna be putting in. It's gonna be the Neckman. And is this one blue or black? I can't remember.
It's black.
This one's black. So they come in different colors. You can actually get them all decked out in aluminum, or you can get them are these powder coated or are they anodized?
I think they're anodized.
They're anodized, huh?
Yeah, they're not powder coated.
They look pretty cool. They give you a lot of options. Made in USA, which is the best part of everything. We want to support all the United States small businesses. We're gonna end up putting brackets. So this bracket is gonna extend from right here. These mounts right there. This one's gonna end up moving over, and then we'll have the other pulley that's gonna come up a little bit higher right here, and then we'll put the Neckman up into the corner, which is actually gonna go even further out here. So I want to say it's almost 1.5 feet out. Now we've already got 0-gauge going to this one. We're gonna take this one, which currently has the Alpine system to it, take this one and put it to the other alternator, separate that circuit so it goes straight to the Warpath, and from the Warpath it'll control all the stereo system, so we can isolate all of it to one entire power bank. We're gonna go ahead and remove the panels first. We got to get access to the belt area, and then we're gonna go ahead and remove the belt. This whole belt has to be replaced, mainly because we're gonna be adding the additional slack of the alternator. To make everything easier, it's probably gonna end up being easier to remove the shroud, and maybe even remove the fan clutch itself, so that way I can just easily slip on the belt and maneuver everything. Let's go ahead and start removing all these panels, and then we will go ahead and start getting as much possible out the way to get the new belt on and off. All right, so I got the shroud out. Leonard actually ended up telling me that it was easier just to take off the top part of the shroud, so I got that out, and the belt came out with ease. Tensioner was super easy, and I pried out the alternator just to move it out so we can go ahead and fit the bracket in place. Now, next step, one thing that I missed, obviously disconnect your negative and positive of your battery. I disconnected both, but you can actually just disconnect the negative, and that'll be suffice. There's another battery over there that just null and void, just chilling, but we're gonna go ahead and put the brackets in place. I can literally just move this alternator out the way for time being, and I will get the brackets set up, and we should be able to go ahead and start putting the Neckman together. Let's go ahead and get it. So I got ahead of myself, and Leonard was like, hey bro, you're not even recording. Now I gotta record what I just got done doing. We got the brackets in place. At first I started taking out the alternator because I thought the bracket was supposed to go here. It's been a while since I've done one of these. I've only done like a handful of these, so I'm not the most expert person at doing these things, but the bracket goes into here, and then as I was showing Leonard, there's a little piece of the extension, or I guess washer, that's kind of going to this part of this aluminum piece. I pulled that off, and that was able to make it sit flush. Otherwise it would would have not fit. We have actually a second one right here so you can get the idea of how it is. The alternator sits onto these two pieces, and then we screwed the 3 bolts onto here. This one did not fit, so I basically cut this one off. It came off really
torqued
easy.
It off, yeah.
Torqued it off, there you go. So if I ended up having to remove this on this bracket, I would have had to actually cut off the weld, flatten it out, which would have taken more time. That one was much easier. It's aluminum, it's lighter. I think this one feels a little bit more robust, but you get the idea. Moving on to the next thing, we have our alternator that can literally go on, but I'm gonna go ahead and start removing all of the wiring right here, so that way we can transfer this wires to the new alternator, which is going to be going to the warpath. Just ignore the fact that I just dropped the washer. We can get a new one. On to the next thing. This plug from the factory is the excite wire and also the ignition that comes from the PCM, which is the power control module, basically the ECU or computer of the car. This plug gets split into 2 with this harness that Leonard ended up bringing us, and then it looks like we have a ignition that needs to get hooked up, so we probably have to run our own ignition to get the excite wire to turn on the alternator. There's instructions for all this in case I'm sure someone's already done it a million times and showed it into another video. We're just going to get into it. So we have our plug here that we're going to go ahead and wire into there and jump from there. After that, then we have to start running our 0 gauge, which we're going to end up running outside of the car because there's so much of it. I don't think we're going to be able to get it in the boots, which is really difficult.
I am the Knight. I am Batman.
Leonard and I came up with a plan to run it from here under through the bottom where the air lines go, and then we're gonna end up drilling a hole up through the back part of the cabin, and then we have some grommets that are gonna be IP34, some bullshit number, I can't remember it. I know it's IP34 something.
Yeah.
Waterproof, jacketed, insulated grommets. Damn, I made that sound good.
Nice.
So we're gonna end up running those up into the cab, and then we'll lock those in place, and that'll end up securing it, which is gonna make us all feel great because it won't end up having any arcing, which is what we don't want in this vehicle. Aside from that, I think we're gonna end up relocating this Stinger wire. Can I jack you for this, bro? I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but
isn't that going to the Alpine though, right?
no, because we're gonna get the Alpine right off the Warpath.
Okay.
So we don't even really need that one because we're running all brand new Sky. Is it Sky High or what did we go with?
Yeah, we went.
Or no, it was what's the brand?
Oh, where's the guy at?
Let's go look at the brand. Let's go look at the wiring.
Okay.
Let's go check that out.
Wanna handle?
By the way, our alternator fits. Let's make sure it fits in the bracket because that's huge, which is why I was trying to get the wires out in the first place because it was kind of preventing the alternator from sitting all the way down. But bam, wow, wow. Dude, this thing looks freaking sick.
Yeah, it does.
Aluminum is just such a a next level baller type of metal.
Yeah, billet.
Billet aluminum,
Yeah.
there you go. Because this is still aluminum,
Yeah.
so much shinier and nicer. These things have a small pulley. These are a 1.7 or 1.5 inch pulley.
Yeah, they're smaller for more torque, right? Or
Right.
More,
Because Leonard is a baller and he has a supercharger, we had to end up getting a longer belt specifically for his.
okay.
And because he's also next level baller, he had to get a green belt because, you know, he's more of a karate guy than we are. Can't have a regular belt going on this bad boy, can't we?
You got Steven busting over there. Seeing about the dies.
Let's kind of move on to checking out the wire. So the other Stinger's exactly the same cable, just blue. It's unfortunate because I really wanted to keep the color scheme correct. We have the split loom right here. We also have flex loom right here, which I'm always a fan of. So everything looks proportionally the same. Then we have the 8 gauge OFC from Elite Audio. This was the only 8 gauge available that we had at the time, but it is true OFC 8 gauge. Then we have some heat shrink right here because we're gonna heat shrink all the connections, can make it look pretty. Because Leonard's so badass, he got us an extra one in case we need more wire. Leonard for the win, yes! Alright, so we have the alternator mounted. Don't be surprised if Leonard just pushes OCD and ends up changing the other one to match it. But we need to go ahead and put on the belt. And I think that's pretty much it for today. Beautiful night. For once, we're gonna be leaving kinda on time. Meanwhile, Steve-O's working on replacing the shocks on this guy. The bags ended up getting replaced, and all we got left is to add some straps, some limiting straps on this guy, and this one will be gone. Day in the life of Modified Garage.